All right, Aries, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast for November 23rd through the 29th. My name is Athen, and this is for Sidereal Astrology, very different from mainstream astrology, which you can find more about down below. All right, Aries, so this week, a full moon in your second house, and a lot going on with the Saturn squaring up to Neptune energy. As you can see, that aspect here is going to go exact here on Thursday. And both Mercury and the Sun join up with Saturn, emphasizing that transit this week. So let's go ahead and start building upon it in terms of what's most important and the overall theme. The overall theme is certainly that full moon midweek in that second house of your values, of finances, of the material aspects of life. So here it's having that awareness and, maybe even cultivating point if over the past 6 months you've started something new with either the material, financial, or earthly side of things. But at the very least, it's an awareness. And so it's that awareness that prompts action. It could be a very active time for all of us this week. And, it's really seeing what your values are in life, what's really important to you. Now, with all this activity in your 8th house of Scorpio, with the Sun and Mercury this week, it is about balancing these values with what's really meaningful to you in life. And when you find that harmony, and also when you find that harmony between having values and having things that are important to you without attachment, because the 8th house is the house of deep, values, and it's also the house of attachment and bondage. So releasing yourself from any type of bondage in life that is inhibiting you, that is just old energies that need to be released, while at the same time enjoying the simple pleasures, because this is a time to be grateful, and it is Thanksgiving for those of us in the States on Thursday. So it is about being grateful, having that gratitude for those material aspects of life, while at the same time having non-attachment and really being open to change in all areas of life, which is that 8th house energy this week. So let's go and look at that 8th house energy. Saturn is squaring up to Neptune this Thursday, so that's going to be another high point of the week. And here it's all about that uncertainty, perhaps, about the future, relating to those deeper aspects. It could be shared resources, it could be bonds, it could be debts, anything that is either a bondage or a deep energy of life. It could also be depth in your relationships, but it's uncertain. And the uncertainty also with anything that you're working on with groups or organizations. Okay, so the key with this aspect, as I've been saying, is to work constructively towards these ideals. And then in that way, the confusion sort of subsides. And likewise, if there is a lot of that active energy, if there's a lot of that dense energy, it's having faith and trust in the process, especially relating to both of those areas. And it could certainly be involving your career, because Saturn is the ruler of your 10th house, and it could certainly be that spiritual energy, that alone time, that meditative time that might need that constructive approach here this middle part of the week. So those are the two most important things. And as we go into the week, these first couple days, Venus is opposing up to Uranus, and the Sun is shifting into Scorpio. So at this early part of the week, there is that shift with the Sun. This is your focus, so I think naturally you'll notice this right at the beginning. More of that intent, more of that awareness of what's really meaningful to you, the depth and the truth about life in general. And then after that, this opposition from Venus could be something new. It could be something maybe that you're seeking freedom with from the daily routines, from that alone time, probably wanting to mix things up, try something new, and it's a good time to mix up that routine. So long as it's nice and grounded, because any opposition from Uranus can sometimes feel like we want to make some sudden choices, some sudden decisions, but it's always good to take it nice and slow while listening to that freedom that is calling for maybe something to mix up here in the daily sphere of things. It could also be with relationships, since Venus does rule your 7th house, and maybe even the financial stuff. Keep everything grounded with that and bring in a little bit more freedom, a little bit more excitement into that. And in terms of the finances, because that is a big part of your chart this week, again, it's the gratitude, being grateful for what we have, and understanding too that, the material stuff is a source of freedom, not the other way around. So that's this early part of the week. Also this week, which is actually very supportive to this square energy, is that Mars is going to be sextiling Saturn pretty much all week. Actually, in fact, let me just double check that. All the way through Thursday. So, and this is going to be a high point around Tuesday. So this is very nice in that Mars is a very benefic planet, and this is your ruler. This week. So for most of us who aren't ruled by Mars, it's going to be, I think, easier for you Aries and for you Scorpios. There is that energy, there is that drive, and you're patient about it. You're steady about it. And there's motivation. So I think it's a great way to work with the early part of the week to facilitate and ground, like I was saying, a lot of these visions or things relating to the future, and it could be very productive. It could keep you nice and grounded this week. And I think you just naturally will be quite grounded, in fact. And, this full moon is going to be trining up to your ruler, Mars. So around Wednesday, there's a lot of that confidence. There's a lot of that drive, while the uncertainty, will be squaring up to Neptune. So there is still that uncertainty, and it is, as you can see, forming that T-square, but support coming in nonetheless from your ruler there. So also around Wednesday during that full moon, Mercury does conjoin up to Saturn. Okay, so activating that. So I think around Wednesday there is the seriousness, there is the uncertainty, but probably more so in how we're thinking. Maybe for you involving also your routine, your health, and your diet, maybe grounding that, taking that seriously this week, while again having that excitement and that freedom there and that spiritual meditative time out. And again, support from your ruler Mars. Okay, Mars sextile in this position, which is good. So could be quite mentally motivated, could be a good day for mental pursuits when done in that constructive way and being open to being guided and not having to have all the figures, figured out, all the details figured out, okay, which is that square up to Neptune. Okay, and it's not the best time to be making huge decisions either this week, but if it is something that's a normal daily mental activity, you certainly do have that support there. And then on Saturday, we do have Chiron going station direct in that 11th house, so there's the shift to the healing that's been taking place involving those organizations with that uncertainty there. So there is a healing there, maybe wounds brought to the surface in regards to that. But I think just naturally it's a shift in the right direction. And this is the last station direct of Chiron in that 11th house. So it's final healings with everything progressive, innovative, and group oriented. Then the weekend ends with the sun going over that Saturn. Okay, so same thing, seriousness and focus and uncertainty. Involving those intentions. All right, so it's a grounding week, especially over the weekend, taking it nice and slow, building, and in that way, I think it's a great time to move forward, even though we don't have everything figured out. All right, Aries. So I hope you guys have a great week. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.